खुली आंखों से देखा वो ख्वाब हो तुम, मेरा सिर्फ पहला ही नहीं आखिरी प्यार हो तुम। किसी के लिए 5 तो किसी के लिए 8 साल चलने वाली लंबा इंतज़ार हो तुम, मेरा सिर्फ पहला नहीं आखिरी प्यार हो तुम। Guess which pyar we are all talking about today? Of course, it is the love about our profession because of which we have all gathered here today. After the insightful day 1, we have today day 2 of conference. And let's now begin with our first technical session.
यदा यदा हि धर्मस्य ग्लानिर्भवति भारत अभ्युत्थानाम् अधर्मस्य तदात्मानं सृजाम्यहम् परित्राणाय साधूनां विनाशाय च दुष्कृतां धर्म संस्थापनार्थाय संभवामि युगे युगे. Intersection of money is a critical aspect. Professionalism is a crucial aspect. Ethics in profession is a carping aspect, and dharma is a mandatory aspect.
To navigate us through the intersection of money, professionalism and ethics in profession, a dharma-based approach, we have with us today Additional Solicitor General, Government of India, Shri N. Venkataraman. I request CA Pramod Srihari, President of KSCAA, to escort Shri N. Venkataraman onto the dais and welcome him with a book. N. Venkataraman completed law in the year 1989 and commenced practice under the late Mr. C. Natarajan, senior advocate, and worked under him for 14 years before commencing independent practice in June 2003. Shri N. Venkataraman has completed 33 years of professional practice in the fields of indirect taxes, direct taxes, international taxation, and in the last 10 years has been doing extensive work in constitutional law and various regulatory matters. He was appointed as the Additional Solicitor General of India Supreme Court for a period of 3 years with effect from July 2020. With this brief introduction, we welcome you to the session, sir. Over to you.
Sharada Sharadambocha Vadana Vadanambujai Sarvata Sarvata Smakam Sannithim Sannithim Kriya. Esteemed colleagues, professionals, am I audible now? Yeah. Dear professional chartered accountants, my good friend Sujata, past presidents, committee members, I was moved by your hospitality that was extended to me the last 1 hour, meeting you all. So intimate, so personal. I feel very indebted and very thankful to you for this opportunity, especially to address on a non-tax topic and a topic of my personal choice and interest. A headman in a village made an announcement in that village that there is a sudden scarcity of milk and we need about 500 liters of milk immediately. And how do you, it's a small village, so how do you generate that much of quantity immediately? So he said, we will keep a huge vessel near the temple. Let each one of you come and pour 1 liter of milk from your home. And in the next 1 hour, let's generate this 500 liters. That was the announcement. So the villagers thought that it's our duty. So let's go and contribute our part of share of 1 liter milk. So one person thought, well, rest of them are going to pour milk. So why don't I pour just 1 liter water? Who is going to see? Then few others also thought the same way. The rest of the village is going to pour milk. Why don't we pour water? Who is going to find it? So the allotted time got over, and the village headman walked to that place and opened the lid. To his shock, found 500 liters of water, but not a drop of milk. We are therefore necessitated to talk about what is professional dharma is in a professional body, and the responsibilities we need to share as professionals with our code of conduct and ethics, which obligates us to do a few things. The point that we need to first address is, why dharma? When there is a choice to be dharmic and also not to be dharmic, because human mind always prefers choices. When you are having more than one option, then your mind will choose the best according to what is best to you. It's human nature. So, when there are two options in this world, you can be dharmic, you need not be dharmic. What do I get being dharmic? That's the fundamental question anyone can pose. It's quite natural and normal. Why do they pose? Because they say, look here, if you're going to say one instance of a person maintaining ethics and morals and dharmic tendencies, I can show you 10 people who don't do it and who are very successful in life. So the first takeaway is it required for me to be successful? If you say so, I will show people who are successful and yet not dharmic. First question. 2, is it so essential? Because all of you keep saying means are equally important and not just the ends. Is the world still acknowledging the distinction between the means and the ends? Show me. The third question people pose to us is, a society works in order knowing fully well that human mind is quite expansive and can choose anything it wants. A successful society is one where you have proper system which monitors your practices and admonishes if you are wrong. Admonition is I wouldn't say punishment, because in 2023 if you use the word punishment, then it's a word of terror in common parlance. So admonition. So the third question is, people who don't practice don't even get admonished. So why dharma? So the fourth question is, look here, he is also leading a life, I am also leading a life. He is leading a life in a different scale, I am leading a life in a different scale. There is no element of disgrace by the society on him. So, why dharma? Why should we do? It is not compulsory. It is completely optional. Because law, you can have any number of laws, but somebody who is found to have been done something adharmic runs and fights law for 20 years to prove that what he did is not adharmic. The process is so cumbersome, humongous. So you don't have checks and balances. So why dharma? I think these are the questions which can run in anybody's mind, especially in a young upcoming mind which is fighting a race with an already established system everywhere. For a young mind who doesn't want to be adharmic, because it's a fresh mind, it wants to be very, very legitimate. It wants to have its own vision map. But the system is clogged. So, what is the threshold entry point for him or her to get into? Dharma or adharma? This is exactly the frame of mind any professional will have in life. So, we need to ask more fundamental and rudimentary questions. If you ask these questions, somebody is successful, you are not successful, so what's the point? If you are following dharma, you are not going to be successful. If you are following adharma, you can easily come up in life. So what's the game? What's the charm? What's the choice? What's the charm? Our two great epics, Ramayana and Mahabharata, has taught very, very invaluable lessons. One of the important takeaways which all of us should bear in mind in 2023 is Duryodhana lived a princely life 98% of his lifetime. Arjuna suffered 95% of his lifetime. Dharma, Arjuna, the whole Pandava group. Rama suffered a lot. Ravana was leading a kingly life all throughout his life journey. So it's not only in 2023 you see this situation. This has been the situation all along. In spite of that, even when after seeing Rama and Ravana, even after seeing Duryodhana and Dharma, why are we saying professional dharma, professional ethics? Even yugas before, the situation has been the same. So, let's take a few examples. Bhishma, because Bhishma is somebody who is so venerated by us. He was dharmic. He was extremely well versed in knowledge. A jnani, a stickler of dharma, a stickler of dharma. But the only downside he had was he was such a stickler that he was so inflexible. When he saw even adharma in front of his eyes, he followed his rules of dharma rather than questioning, this is an adharmic act, why is this happening? Because when a king is present and when he serves only the kingdom and he is not a king, when the king has to take the call, why should I allow, when what is happening to Draupadi, Mata Draupadi, why should I ask the question, prevented him from asking that question. So his dharmic values was so inflexible that he can see something in front of his eyes and he still kept quiet. Take the case of Drona, one of the greatest teachers universe has ever seen. Greatest teachers. But his ego was equally powerful and great. His point to prove that supremacy on certain aspects, the fanaticism he carried with him, in spite of his skills and knowledge, brought him down. Take the case of Karna, whom all of us love. I don't think Anybody who has read or known little bit of Mahabharata, Karna is a fascinating character in that whole epic. Because we will all say finally, oh, what a good man, he finally lost to nothing. What did he do to receive this? Krishna answers it there. So, there is a dialogue, interesting dialogue. This is a modern version. It was all there in a hidden way, in a modern version of thinking. When Karna goes to Krishna and says, look here, I am an archer. Arjuna is also an archer. Both of us are meritorious. And I had all the abilities to defeat him. And he may have the same abilities to defeat me. But why did we not have a fair chance to fight? Why did this happen to me? Why did you do this to me? Krishna replies, no, there is a difference. And questions Karna back. Karna, when it comes to charity, there can be no parallel in this universe to your charitable mind. Nobody can ever reach the scales of your generosity in this universe. Therefore, let me assure you, when people talk about Karna, they will always refer you as the most charitable, generous and venerable person in this universe. Because you have done it without a selfish motive. It was selfless. You will always be recognized for that. But you are saying, I don't want that. World wants me to acknowledge as the supreme archer for till sun and moon sets in this universe. That's the claim you're making to me. We can't give that to you. When I'm able to give this to you, I'm not able to give that to you. I must give you a reason. The reason is this. Tell me, Karna, in your whole life, have you ever fought a battle selflessly for your kingdom and kings? The only mission for having learned this craft was to kill Arjuna and proclaim to the world that you are the most successful archer. Did you ever fight a battle selflessly? All throughout your life. Show me one. When it comes to dana, you have done it. But when it comes to archery, you have not done it. You have been very selfish. Because you are selfish, world will not remember you at all for this. And they will always only claim Arjuna to be the most proficient archer. And this is the message I convey to the world through you. The most knowledgeable, the most resourceful, the most powerful, if you remain selfish, there will be a time where you'll have to pass through moments of crisis. Your power, your resources, your wealth, your knowledge will not come to your aid. This is the curse one carries for being selfish in what they have acquired in life. You are the messenger to convey this to the world. Duryodhana. Duryodhana is a classic example. See, these are all characters for us to understand the human mind. Mahabharata is just not an epic. All possible human mind responses and emotions are embedded in that epic. It's an encyclopedia of how human behavior would be in a given situation. So what is Duryodhana? Duryodhana reflects. If you are utterly self-centered, it's not selfish. Self-centered. What do you mean by self-centered? Your world starts with you and ends with you. and rest of the world has to align with you. You will have to control rest of the world. Whomever you have access upon, whomever comes under your domain, you should exercise authority, your style, my way or highway. Duryodhana is a typical example for that. And what does Mahabharata teach? A professional, we can translate it to professionalism, a professional who is so self-centric, a professional who cares nothing about anything else around him, walks the path like Duryodhana, he will meet with two choices in life. He or she will ultimately end up in greed. Greed is the quality one acquires over a period of time if that person is extremely self-centric. Greed. Whenever somebody gets into the phase of greed, the choice of life will allow him or her to come into contact with people who are crooked in life, Shakuni. You go the Dharma way, you will end up with Krishna. You go the Duryodhana way, you will end up with Shakuni. So, imagine anyone who is greedy and crooked. What sort of a life it is. However powerful you may be, however resourceful you may be, however wealthy you may be, however famous you may be, greed and crookedness cannot sustain life beyond a point, is what Mahabharata teaches us. Finally, let's take the case of Dharma. Yudhishthira. Did he have knowledge? He had knowledge. Was he humble? He remained humble. Did he tread the path of Dharma? Yes, of course he did the path of Dharma and suffered for that. Draupadi asked a question to Vidura. Vidura is again one of the most powerful characters in Mahabharata. And Vidura Nidhi is something all professionals should have a look at it at least once. Such a balanced approach to what qualities a human being should possess, especially people like us. You should read Vidura Nidhi. It's all downloadable, it's all available in English translation. So Draupadi asked a very smart question. She tells her uncle, look here, what did we do? We did nothing. And what did the Kauravas do? You know. Why is the king asking us to go to the forest and asking his children to remain in the palace? I don't understand this. Simple question. For which Vidura, one of the greatest stalwart, most well-read, most read person and most balanced character in the whole epic, Vidura replies, look here, Draupadi, kingdom and kings have tough choices to make. When a mother has two children, one is willing to obey the mother and one has the habit of retaliation. What would the mother do? The mother would request the child who is obedient to say, after all, your brother or sister knows they are retaliatory in nature. Why don't you yield them? Simple. It's called in our scriptures as Adhika Nidhi, a compromise. Kingdoms and kings also resort to Adhika Nidhi. When one fellow is ready to listen and the other family is not ready to listen, you will always only persuade the family who listens to give up. Because kingdom needs peace. Therefore, we are requesting you to go to the forest. in the interest of the kingdom, the interest of rest of the lives here. But you will be compensated with glory and fame, imperishable at some point of time. You now obey that word. See, this is the beauty of our scriptures. We don't have, if you read it as like English novel, you can read it like that. If you dig deep to know what it says so many things. Now let's ask the question, which we all asked 20 minutes ago, saying that, look here, why should I be dharmic? Am I going to get more wealth? Am I going to become more famous? Or people who are not resorting to it, are they getting punished? World 10 out of 1, 9 out of 1 is majority follows one rule. Why are you asking me to do something else? Is the question we pose to ourselves. And we have to find an answer for that question. Therefore, what does this land, this glorious holy land, teaches all of us, to the entire human race? See, these are all concepts which applies to the entire human race. This is casteless, colorless, religionless, secularless, with absolute harmony. It applies to everybody. Where is the exception in this? This person of this category is exempted from this because this won't. No. We are talking what is good for human life. Because all this says so. So it says, look here, what is the purpose of a human life? And puts 4 broad components: dharma, artha, kama, followed by moksha. Let's not worry about moksha. This is not the conference time to speak about it. So let's now concentrate on the first 3. Dharma, artha and kama. Now let's put the question which we framed first and what we discuss later with 5 illustrations. So life gives us a choice for every human being. You can make a choice. It's your choice. You can take just 2 out of the 3, artha and kama. Leave dharma and lead a life. Choice is yours. Take only artha, take only kama, leave dharma and lead a life. It's your choice. Or else, take dharma, go in search of artha, go and enjoy your desires, but on the rule game of dharma. What do you want? It's your choice. Nobody forces you. It's your mind. So, when you are given with these 2 choices, if you are going to question, what do I get? What should you get is again your choice. You want to get the life of Ravana or Duryodhana, follow that. We can't stop you. If you want to get into the life stream of Arjuna or Rama, follow that. Nobody compels you. Now, what is that we ultimately make up ourselves? So the net answer, because in 2023, inferences coming later is unacceptable. Now tell me clearly, okay, I'm ready to take all the 3. What will I get? Show me that first, then I will decide whether I want 2 or 3. So it says, your choice in life is between greed, selfishness, anger, and jealousy on one side. You can fill your life with anger, fill your life with jealousy, fill your life with greed. Choice is yours. Or a life with contentment, a life with peace, a life in harmony, and a life in joy. Sir, there is a disconnect here. You say, by not earning much, I can lead a joyful life and happy life. I don't understand it. Immediate question. Immediate question. So, the first principle you need to understand in life, it's a choice. Is wealth, is power, is resource, is fame, are these the guiding tools for your life? Or your guiding tools is, I need to earn all this, but I need to contribute. Because I am a professional. I have a commitment, I have a duty to contribute my skill in the service of my client. The question immediately a chartered accountant asks, which he has asked in several forums, is, sir, what is professional dharma? Let's take a doctor and a chartered accountant and a lawyer. We are we are brothers and sisters because we almost do the same type of jobs. So, somebody who abuses the human body, a drunkard, somebody who has consumed drugs and wasted most part of his life, about to collapse, reaches a hospital. So, professional dharma of a doctor is, should he save him or not? He's come to your hospital, coming for medication. Can you say, look here, you have abused your body, you have not led a decent life, you have not led a moral life, therefore I won't touch your body, get lost. Is it the professional dharma of a doctor? Question, valid question. Similarly, sir, look here, I am a clean chartered accountant, I have no problem. But a client who comes to me may be a rogue. He might have done so many things. And he now comes to me, approaches me professionally, save me from this. I do not know how to. I have done my mistake. I agree. Please save me. So, when a doctor can handle a patient who has abused as professional dharma, what is wrong in standing up and defending a cause of people who are evaders, people who have committed crimes of a heinous nature, because that is my professional dharma? Fair question. See, you should not get agitated. We should read emotional things, Mahabharata, it gives influences your mind, everything is fine, but you should not get agitated. You should only remain balanced. Only then you can find answers. So the answers scripture give is this. Very interesting answer. It says, what is matchless, what is priceless in universal existence is human life. Life of a human being is the most precious in this universe. Most. We think holding 4 cars, 5 buildings, bank deposits is precious. No. Scriptures say the most invaluable thing in human life is, in the universe, is human life. And therefore, it carves out exceptions to human life. The general rule for somebody to lead a life is twofold, satyam and dharma. This is unconditional. This is something not to be compromised, says scriptures. But it carves out an exception for satyam. Can you imagine? To showcase how important it is, human life is that invaluable. It says, when it comes to satyam, there is only one exception. There is only one occasion where somebody is permitted to lie. If it is going to protect or save a human life, you can do that. That's the only exception for satyam. So, why? Because human life is more precious and invaluable. That's why they always cite this story when they cite this example. A sage was in tapas. So someone was chased by a group of people and he was about to be killed. He crosses the sage. And the sage meets him and says, "What's happening to you?" No, they are chasing to kill me. Okay, go and hide there. So these people who chased come a little later and question him, "Did you find a man in this area?" Yeah, he has gone like this. He shows in a different direction. Because he is a sage, they trusted and started to go in search of him in that direction. It's a example cited in our scriptures and says this is one exception. The sage was permitted to speak to contrary to truth because he had saved a human life, which is invaluable. So, a doctor's role and a chartered accountant's role is not one and the same. That's the message, ultimately. A doctor saving a human life is different from standing up and defending an evader. See, it's a choice. I mean, we can't, therefore, tomorrow we all take a vote, then what will happen to them, we don't know. But I'll have to tell you one thing. See, when you confront cases which affects the society, which affects the nation, which threatens our security, be very, very careful. Be very, very careful. You will be surprised. I'll give you one instance where we are doing a case. Very interesting matter. Shockingly interesting. All of us know one standard form of smuggling goods into one country is smuggling in the guise of gold. Gold is always a precious metal for smuggling. Likewise, diamonds are again a medium for smuggling. Everybody knows. In fact, Fatwa has given a very detailed report on these two precious items. How they become the source for money laundering. There are big lecture notes on that. You will be surprised. 4 months back or 6 months back, a simple fellow, when we arrested him and verified his bank accounts, he had hardly 20,000 rupees in his account. He's a carrier. He's a simple carrier. He puts a backpack back, steps down from a foreign destination into India, passes through the international airport in India, through Green Channel, putting this backpack and walks calmly. Then based on intelligence, he is intercepted. And they seize a watch from his hand. What's the fun, sir? Seizing a watch. What is a crime? The value of the watch is just 30 crores. That's all. Just 30 crores. Embedded with diamonds. And the whole thing is the finest artwork on gold. Carrying a value of 30 crores. Puts it on his hand, walks out. No invoice of purchase. No duties paid. Because he claims it's my personal belonging. Personal effects are exempted from customs duty. So immediately go and check the bank details. He has a bank balance of 20,000 rupees in his account. Carries 30 crore worth watch. Then if you keep investigating, then the moment he is caught, he immediately gets a WhatsApp saying, see, these are all covered validly by invoices. What were you doing earlier? Why did you not bring the invoice? So immediately he says, see, I have an invoice in my name, handwritten invoice. So when you go and explore the source from where it has been invoiced, the watch is actually invoiced to some name in Singapore, whereas the man lands in India. He shows a handwritten invoice in his name as though it is for India. You go back two steps earlier, whereas the source, the origination, where the original invoice was issued, is invoiced on some buyer in Singapore. So, manufacturing country is A, invoicing country is B, invoice to a person in country C, the watch lands into India D without any documents. And it is one watch which, because it doesn't bring without an invoice, it is certainly for market circulation, certainly for a cash transaction. So there is somebody who is ready to pay 30 crores for this. And there are investment, like you have several offshore, onshore investment vehicles, there are lockers and investment platforms on watches in the world today. See, instead of bringing 50, 60 kgs of gold as smuggled, bring one watch on your hand worth the same value. World recognizes it as 30 crores value. Intrinsically, whether it's that much worth, we don't know. See, it's a new form of managing currency, higher than cryptocurrency. So you go and place it in a locker. You can pledge, you can mortgage, you can take loan. All this happens. And when the department has investigated and found it so. And these monies are peddled for operations which are alarmingly shocking. So, put the question, what do I do if such a person comes and says, I should defend this case? Your professional dharma. I leave the question to you and the choice of answer also to you. Hey, come on, there's a 30 crore opportunity is one way. Come on, 30 crores of cash from India is going out of India, peddled out of India, and we do not know where the end use is, how dangerous it is another perspective to look. So how do you want to look? That's your personal take. But the results of it should also be borne in mind. See, scriptures don't compel you. They only tell you, it's like your path gates, guiding posts. It will tell you, if you go into this road, it will take you there. It won't compel you. Having seen this post, you should only go there. It won't say. If you go, it will take you there. If you don't go, if you go in a wrong way, it will take you elsewhere. So it gives you the solutions. It gives you the effects. If you choose this path or this path, what will be the effect? The effect will be 7 Ds. They popularly call it as a 7D theory. A. Desires without dharma. If you keep desiring life without dharmic values, you will become slowly a deluded person. That's the change in your attitude in life. You will become a deluded person. What do you mean by deluded person? The equivalent word is moha, reckless desire, reckless, unstoppable, mindless state of desire. So you become deluded. That's the attitude one will develop in life. What will happen to a deluded soul? He will become slowly demonic. What is demonic? Greed and crookedness. Fourth, a person who is greedy and crooked will not mind being deceitful. Fourth D. A desire without dharma leads you step by step. You get deluded, you become demonic, and you will not mind being deceitful. Once you get into the zone of deceit, then you will not worry about grace or disgrace. Nothing matters to that mind because it is so deluded, it has decided to march into that path. Life becomes desperate. Deceited life leads to lives. See, they may have everything in life, but they will feel as though they don't have anything in life. That will be their state of mind. You will have everything, but you will feel still you need more because greed has no limits. So it leads you to the life of desperation. And this is where the anticlimax starts. Up to this, it's fine. The story of Ravana, up to this is fine. The story of Duryodhana, up to this is fine. What is wrong in being desperate, sir? What's wrong in being deceitful? Look at Ravana, look at Duryodhana. but the two final outcomes are inevitable. Once you push yourself into the zone of desperation, defeats will follow. And defeat leads to destruction. 95% of your life can be beautiful. But if life tips the last 3%, the last 2%, is it worth it or not? If you have the first 5, if you want the first 5, be ready also to marry the last 2. That is all life says. It's up to you. It's up to all of us. So, the first question, if I want to choose only artha and kama without dharma, and earn, desire, these are the steps which life can take you into. Now the converse. All right, sir. Fine. We'll listen to you at least. If we want all the 3, we want artha, kama, with dharma, what do we get? Because you have told us what we will not get. All right. What will we get now? Now, Krishna gives the solution, the 5 essential gem formula. It's called, what popularly called the gem formula. What do you get? How do you position your life? How do you position your life? It says, this is what a human being is supposed to do. Whether we want to do or not want to do is your choice, but supposed to do. A. Our hearts should be filled with love which is selfless. Because you have to define dharma in some form. What is dharma? You keep telling us professional dharma. What is that professional dharma? Hey, come on, have a heart here. Oh, all of us have hearts. Have a heart which is filled with selfless love. 2, have a mind which is fearless and has courage. See, it is fearless minds which stand up and fight causes. I'm just giving you a broad statistics. See, what is India's fight in the last 1 decade? And where is India today? Fearless. You have to take we are ready to take and fight with competitors saying, what you produce, we will produce in India. What you serve, we will serve in India. In fact, I was talking to one of them here today who's been a party to the KSCAA network. See, in the last 10 years, we have taken 24 crucial steps. And you must know the takeaway of the 24 crucial steps in converting informal economy into formal economy. Informal economy was 90%, formal economy was 10%. Today, formal economy is more than 50%. How do you say? There are 2 examples you can cite. Go to even the recent G20 conference which happened in your place. World leaders, finance ministers met. The whole world is baffled with India on 2 things. And there are many more beyond this. How have you achieved this remarkable success of your UPI, which is turning out to churn out transaction of 200 billion in a month? See the penetration and reach. And this is a public platform technology. Our KSCAA network, see, before 2017, the registered assessees were 60 lakhs. In 5 years, we have 1.4 crore registered assessees today. You cannot survive unless you are hooked to the KSCAA network. Of course, people do raise fake invoices. But compared to 15.5 lakh crores of GST, which we realize, a 30,000 crore of fake invoices, we have to handle it, but it doesn't matter, we'll fight it out. Those people will be, see, out of 52,000 crores, all of you everywhere, you guys are, why are you arresting people? You should know whom are we arresting. Out of 52,000 crores of fake invoices, when government picked up 474 people, it could collect 22,000 crores overnight. These are all statistics. So, this is when you stand up and fight. I don't want a borrowed system. We should make it. This requires courage. This requires fearlessness. When you stand fearlessly and courageously, people will be at you to crush it. But merely because people will challenge you, if you say that, hey, there will be a challenge, therefore I don't know, it's up to you. So what is professional dharma? A heart which is filled with love, concern, a mind which is fearless and courageous. A buddhi, an intellect which follows the path of nyaya, righteousness and truthfulness. Our intelligence should always go towards truth, finding the truth in law. When we work the nuances in law, when we read a law, when we apparently read a provision, we immediately think, oh, this is difficult. Now, how do we manage the situation? That's one way. Put your heart into that law. You may find a loophole in the law also. That's the other way. Go in search of truth. Use your buddhi for truthfulness. And the entire body should be committed to doing that professional dharma of chartered accountancy. So, your heart, your mind, your buddhi, and your body. If all these four has these in their life, Krishna says, the top of the pyramid will be dharma, and the bottom of the pyramid will be compassion. Karunai. Krishna says, remember human beings, O human race, a life without compassion will lead only to mass destruction. It is compassion which retains you as a human being, which differentiates you from rest of the things and objects in this universe. So, compassion, samarpana buddhi of your body, nyaya of your buddhi, courage of your mind, filled with selfless love, makes you professionally a very, very dharmic person. That's what Krishna says. So, the choice is between us. You want the 7 Ds or these 5 components of 5 gems of dharma, 7:5. You can choose whatever you want to choose. Now, when you do, as a professional, when you do the latter, the 5 gems, what will happen to you in life? These are the assurances we see in people who have professionally succeeded. See, there are so many who have succeeded the wrong way. And in their lifetime, they would have enjoyed life much, much stronger than any one of them, the other counterparts. But the question, as Krishna very clearly says, you will be remembered, you will be recognized or not, depends on whether you are in dharma or adharma. Adharma has a very limited shelf life. It comes with you and it dies with you. People will not remember you thereafter. So it's a call again, hey, why should I be remembered here? I should be happy. That's fine. No, having been born, I should contribute. Having been born, I should add value. I should leave something to my legacy. I should leave something. We all think leaving assets to our children, leaving bank deposit to our children is going to protect them. But if you leave all this without dharmic values, who is going to protect them? Is the question. You give everything they want, but not a dharmic life. Do you think they will be able to carry on? A bank manager sitting in a bank is a custodian and trustee of the cash that is found in his lockers, the jewels that is found in his lockers. If the same bank manager thinks for a minute, hey, I'm the manager of the bank. No, I'm not a manager, I'm the owner of this bank. What happens to him? Ultimately, we are all custodians to what? Because it may look very philosophical, but that's the truth. We come with nothing, and people burn or bury us with nothing. So, the transitory life leaves with us only repositories and custodians, which we clamor to keep it as our possessions in life. So, a professional following Dharma will get 8 things in life. That choice is again yours. First, whether you like it or not, a dharmic person will be liked by the human race. They will say, he's a useless fellow, yeah. Hey, no, but we should still respect him for what he's doing. They'll leave you. They'll spare you first in life. You will be a liked person if you are on Dharma. Because Dharma, Satya, has the ability to reflect that and radiate that. It has an ability to radiate. So you'll be liked. 2, between an adharmic and a dharmic professional, world will trust a dharmic professional. You will have to wait for your turn, wait for your day. See, people who want to achieve things will go, oh, at least you'll get it done, okay. But trust is not something which you will develop in the process. It's all a working relationship for that particular occasion. Trust in human relationship gets only when you follow the rules of Dharma. And as a professional, whether you should be trusted or not is your choice. Third, once you are liked and once you are trusted, then the persons who come into your contact, the clients, will start to expect you to do a few things. Oh, here is a man. Ultimately, even the most dishonest man believes in having a contact with an honest person. I can say that with some sense of responsibility. They would like to feel secured only when an honest man is around, not when a dishonest people are around them. He will not feel secure. He will manage his games, but he will not feel secure. Because dishonesty is a race. Today you are on top. Tomorrow somebody will overtake you, easily substitute you. It's a race. It's a rat race. So third is expectations. Fourth, expectation gives you the confidence in life to do things in a dharmic way. You have to wait. Your day will come. When your day comes, you can do it with confidence and courage. You don't have to buckle. Because when you stand up and speak with conviction, people will listen to you. Dharma has that power. Dharma has that ability to radiate. When you voice something, you will be listened. Because you practice Dharma. So, when you say something with confidence, see, there are 2 choices. You can be confident and you can be arrogant. And the dividing line is very thin. So, you become confident. Then after all, when opportunities come after that, name, fame, recognition, wealth. See, do you think people who practice dharmic are all poverty-stricken? No. Don't think so. They may not be as rich, as powerful, as influential, as famous of people who have not been dharmic. That statement I agree. But to say, leading a life of dharma will make me poorer and poorer and poorer and end in life of famine. No. That's not a correct statement. A professional should not make that statement, especially. So, how do you compare your life? You want this or you want that? Don't get enamored looking at that. It's a request we make. And then, I think at least 10 or 15 minutes I want to take questions. I'll wind up with this episode. And if you want, I can take some questions. See, let's be very clear. I'm in Bangalore. And at least most of my friends here know that I'm a devotee of Sringeri Acharya. He's our Kulaguru for 4 centuries and above. Our village is connected with Sringeri Mutt for the last 400 years. So when a foreigner meets Acharya and asks him, Swami, when you are sitting so calm and in so peaceful manner, and I see you and I see rest of the world. He's a foreigner. It's a report, documented incident. So he asked question, I see you, I see rest of the world. Rest of the world is extremely 180 degrees on the other side. What is the reason? Then Swamiji replies in 4 steps. Look here. This applies to an individual. This applies to a family, this applies to a society, and this applies to a nation. It's the same. First step, if you give up dharma, you may have everything in life, but you will be in a state of restlessness. That's the first symptom you will get for becoming adharmic. The nation will become restless. You will become restless. Your family will become restless if you give up dharma. First symptom. The second symptom, because of that restlessness, there will be resistance within your family, within your society, within you and within the nation. Restlessness leads to resistance. Third, when there is constant resistance, resistance leads to conflicts in the family, outside the family. See, today in Supreme Court, the maximum number of petition is transfer petition for divorce cases. 10,000 cases in Supreme Court is pending for transfer alone. Just to transfer, which court should hear this case? 10,000 cases. Conflicts. Fourth, conflict leads to destructions. So the answer Swamiji gave was, if you give up dharma, restlessness followed by resistance, followed by conflicts, ending up in destruction is inevitable. COVID was a live example in our life which we are yet to still realize. Could we stop it? With your engineering, with your science, with all the money you had. See, COVID was completely neutral. It did not pick up caste, it did not become color, it did not become religion, it did not become sex. It started hitting everybody. So, all of us during COVID were only philosophers here. For 2 years we spoke nothing but philosophy. But once the world started opening up, where are we today? We are back to square one. Which is what our scriptures call it as smasana vairagyam. When you see a dead person, when you attend a cremation, you will come back and say, hey, come on, yeah, life is just this. Next day morning, if you are not given your routine coffee, you are finished. The person who doesn't give you gets finished. This is what is called a smasana vairagya. So let me wind up with this narrative, and then I am ready to take some questions if there are any. A king was leading, as a true leader, a great kingdom. One fine day, he comes out of his palace and sees a woman moving out of the palace whom he has not seen at all earlier. So he goes to her and says, I have not seen you earlier. Who are you? And why are you going out of my palace? Comes the reply, I am Goddess Mahalakshmi. I am not supposed to be in one place always. So I had been with you for long. Now I am moving out from this place. The king, like Janaka, is a very matured king. And he said, all right, if that is what is in store for me, may I bid you farewell. Thank you so much for being with me for all these years. So Mahalakshmi moves out of the palace. After a few minutes, he sees a very sturdy, strong man rushing out of the palace. So the king goes and asks, who are you? Why are you rushing out? Look here, I can only reside in a place where Mahalakshmi resides because I represent charity, dana. So when Mahalakshmi has now gone out of this palace, it's my duty to follow her, therefore I am following her. After a while, he says, all right, this is what is in store, please go. After 15 minutes, one more person runs out of the palace. So the king stops and asks, who are you? He says, I will be in a place where Mata Mahalakshmi and Dhana is there. I belong to the divine source of fame and happiness. So when these two people are away, I can't be away from them, so I'm following them. So I'm going out. All right, third person. And finally, he sees the fourth. And when king goes and asks, who are you? He says, I represent dharma. When the first three moves out of this palace, I have no work anymore in this palace because dharma has to follow the consequence of the rest of the three. Then the king holds the feet of dharma and says, look here, I am not bothered about the first three moving out of this palace. But you should stay with me. I am not going to leave. I want my kingdom to be on the rules of dharma. Then the person obliged, because you are requesting and you have been a practitioner of dharma, let me stay back in the palace. So dharma chooses to remain with the king, and thus came the rest of the three instantaneously. Fame came back, charity came back, and Mata Mahalakshmi came back and started residing in the palace. Dharma is supreme. Thank you so much for the opportunity. It was such a pleasure to have talked to all of you. Thank you, Sujata, for this opportunity. Thank you to all the youngsters. Find a lot of youngsters here. It's such a nice to see. Wish you the very best. This profession gives lot of opportunity. India is growing. I'll just leave one statistics with you. This is the statistics read by our chief economic advisor as part of the economic survey report. And this is a statistic given by IMF. There is going to be negative growth in UK. USA and Europe will grow around 2%. China has grown last year at 3%, and it's attempting to grow at 5%. IMF says India is the fastest growing economy because it's growing at 6.5%. All the very best.
Thank you so much, sir. The forum is now open for questions. If any of the members wish to ask questions to the speaker, they can do so. They can take mics from the volunteers who are standing around here.
Sir, good morning.
Yes.
You said saving life is the foremost thing in our life. When somebody comes to kill me, and if I don't have a choice, whether killing myself and saving his life is more important,
No, it doesn't.
or killing him and saving my life is more important.
Now, you have to save your life. Because your life is not different from any other life. Self-defense, see, in every of our scriptures have never asked us to remain meek. It has never asked us to remain mute. It has never asked us to stand up and fight. You are entitled to retaliate on two circumstances. You should not stir a controversy and start initiating a fight. That's not permissible. And when somebody fights with you and the cause is adharmic, for the sake of establishing dharma, you can stand up and fight. See, the whole story of Mahabharata, Krishna employs several methods which all the protagonists keep speaking, devious, dubious. How do you call him a god? All that they say. He tells Shakuni before the war, look here, Shakuni, how did you snatch the kingdom from the Pandavas? Through deceit, through dice. I am going to give you back in the same coin. This war will be won by resorting to means which are not dharmic. Because this is the logic of Mahabharata. As long as the end is dharmic, the end is selfless, the end is not for calibrating your interest. If the end is dharmic, means can also be adharmic, no problem. But end should be dharmic. That's the moral Mahabharata conveys. See, I'll take 2 minutes. 3 people cannot be killed at all. Bhishma, Drona, Karna. Because all the 3 have boons. They cannot be killed in a human war. Bhishma can decide only when he wants to die. So they should be killed because they are standing on the side of adharma. So when you have to kill Bhishma, you have to bring a shikanti. When you have to kill Drona, you have to say Aswattama Kuncharaha. When you have to kill Karna, you have to put the chariot down. You can't otherwise kill them. But they should be killed. Not for their individual merit, which they are venerated even today, but the side which they camped and fought. We should understand, we should have the faith. Our scriptures will not misguide us. With that faith, if we read our scripture, every story, every episode will convey the best of truth. Invaluable. Otherwise, how would this have stand? Treta Yuga Ramayana is even chanted today. Tell me one parallel, one text in this world which has survived that long. After 3 yugas, people are still chanting Ramayana. See, remember what India is. As Indians, we should be proud about it. We have been vanquished, we have been devastated, we have been ruined several times in the past. But we have always recreated ourselves. See, there are civilizations. You take the Roman civilization, you take the Mesopotamian civilization, you take the Babylonian civilization, you take the Indus Valley civilization. Which civilization survives today? What happens to the rest of the civilizations? Because we know the art of recreation. Our art of recreation is standing by Satya and Dharma. It is the tapas of our Maharishis, it is the tapas of our sages which is protecting this country, not you and me. You must understand that. As long as we have tapasvis in this holy land, anybody can attack us, we will recreate it. Any number of times they can attack us, we will recreate it. This is the art. This soil has it. So, you are entitled to fight and kill the other man if he's going to kill you. That's the answer, short answer.
Dear members, before moving on to the next question, which will also be the last question for this session due to paucity of time, I would just like to make a short announcement that we will immediately begin with the next interesting session, which will be by an inspirational lady CA, after which we will have the tea break. So I request all the members to please stay back. Next question, sir.
Yeah, good morning, sir.
Yes.
Yes, Dharma, where we have to identify Dharma, where we can see the Dharma, whether it is visualized or practically,
No.
it is there, or if any successful person is there, yes, he is doing Dharma, or where we can follow
Yeah, I'll tell you.
or identify. And it's, for example, contribution, donation, and corruption. These 3 words, each perception of the person, it will go on change.
Correct.
In these 3, where is the Dharma?
I'm happy you asked the second question so that I can answer it better. I have been an advisor before I took this law office. I've been an advisor to a group for 20 long years, one of the leading group in Bangalore. That individual the individual and the family has divested 90% of their holdings into a public trust. The dividend and the share value is held by a trust, serving great causes. So he is a business leader who has connected two things. Front end is doing business and doing business in an ethical way. And they have been one of the market world leaders in the software platform, in the computer industry, both hardware and software. Talking of somebody who is alive and in Bangalore. You don't have to go anywhere else for inspiration. Whose back end is the dividend and the share value flows into a kitty which is serving public cause. 7% of their shares the family holds. Rest of their shares is held by somebody else in trust. And the entire life, that person has not given 1 rupee to a political party for a political election. In 2023, is it possible? You know how simple he is? He is ready to travel all throughout his life in an economy class. In one of the seminars he was to address, he reached that hall 30 minutes before and he wanted to just use the facility. Because of his stature, people said, this room is there, that room is there, that suit is there. He said, no, my vice president has come. Where is he? I'll just go and use this room and then come back to the meeting. Simplicity. Being humble, being simple, being noble of an individual will take you to these scales. He will ever be remembered for what he has done to this world. Thank you so much.
That was the last question for this session. Thank you so much, sir. You have...
I can come down? Thank you so much, all of you. Kind of you.
Sir, I request you to just stay back on the stage for a few minutes. Thank you so much for asking this probing question to us, that what do we get by being a dharmic? And the stories that you've stated from these epics are something that we'll always connect to, and the long-lasting benefits that you've stated of being a dharmic is something that we'll take away from this session.
Thank you.
I request CA Sujata, Vice Chairperson of KSCAA, to present a memento to Shri and Venkataraman as a token of our gratitude and appreciation. A huge round of applause to this wonderful speaker who gave such an amazing start to our day 2. Your philosophies have truly given us a new perspective towards a dharma-based approach. Thank you for your presence today, sir.